It's about to be the open of a new week, and of course, because of that, we should be having our weekly outlook on our pairs that we always look at. We'll be having an outlook on DXY, that the dollar index, GBPUSD, Euro USD, gold, and finally, we'll also add GBPJPY because of the request from some of you. So here we have the dollar index on the monthly chart. And the first thing that I would love everyone to notice is the fact that after this move to the downside, DXY has taken out this previous monthly low here, hence sell side liquidity. And of course, we know that when price takes out sell side liquidity, it is seeking for internal range liquidity, which we could find on this monthly fair value gap here. So I will just put a line here as our draw on liquidity right here. It's a potential of the dollar index reaching for this. But before we want to even look at the dollar index going to this, we also have to drop down to the weekly time frame to look at what is happening on the weekly chart. And what can we find on the weekly? After price took out sell side liquidity, it got inside of this bearish weekly fair value gap and inverted it, creating a bullish balance price range, which I will highlight here. And we also have this bearish order block because price reacted here, which price could also break here. So I would highlight the high of the range, which is this. If the dollar needed to have a drop in value, we'll be having a break using this bearish order block. But due to the fact that we see the dollar value getting strong because of an increase in the expected house values, we may be experiencing a break from this high. If we do encounter a break, then we'll be having price rallying till this high here on the monthly chart. We drop down to the daily time frame to have more context into our story. Since price took out this low, we see price is rejecting and buying slowly to premium of this range. From this high to this low, we see price is around premium, inside of a bearish order block and inside of a bearish fair value gap. If the dollar needed to sell from here, we'll be needing to see a bearish engulfment right here. But if the dollar instead spikes and breaks this high, we'll be encountering bullish moves till this final high here. If you look at the fundamental side of the market, we need to notice that the Fed governor, one of the Fed governors, that is Mr. Christopher, he states the support and there will be potentially an interest rate cut on the 29th to the 30th, but until then, we can't say anything. Also, the inflation rates in the University of Michigan were bullish and has a consumer sentiment which has risen over a 5-month high, which could cause more increase in the dollar value in the coming days or in the coming weeks. So while looking at price, the fact that price hasn't caused any bearish engulfment in this area, which could be a bearish order block, we will still be looking for bearish price for bullish pricing, expecting the dollar to break this high here. If on the other hand it creates a bearish order block on the daily chart, note that anything that I'm saying to happen should be on the daily chart. If it creates a daily order block, then we'll be having the bearish pricing here. But still, I have more expectations on seeing bullish pricing till this high. We'll be seeing what the dollar has to do during the week, and if any changes in analysis, there will be an update for you guys. Off to our next pair. Our next pair we have GBPUSD, personally my favorite. And on our last video, we had price taking out buy side liquidity, and we had our anticipations of price taking out sell side, which was the previous monthly low, which you can look here cleanly. You will notice that price had taken out that previous monthly low during the week right here. That does not mean that price's bearish movements have ended. We will still be looking at it during the week with a potential next draw at our monthly fair value gap right here. Dropping down to the weekly time frame for more context, because right here we only have candlesticks pushing. We need to go to the weekly chart and see what has been happening. Of course, we see what looks like price is potentially about to create a shift in market structure, but price hasn't closed below here right now. So if we have to see a shift in market structure, price needs to sell to the downside and close below this low by the end of the next week. So we just have our key levels. We have this weekly fair value gap which has been formed we have sell side liquidity here, and we have this bullish fair value gap here, which price could use to push slightly to the upside. But we have this clean low, which price could still rally more to the downside too. When dropping down to the daily time frame, we see this range. We have this high that price had created on Wednesday, and you see on Friday came back, reacted to 50% of the high. It was a rejection block, and we see price has been selling due to it. We may encounter more bearish pricing during the week. Price to rally down. We have this bullish fair value gap down here as a first target. If price has to go down to it, and finally we have this range here that we could see price if it has to continue selling. So even though we have bearishness on GU, it is in a range that I will not suggest a beginner to look into it. You have to look keenly before you want to take any trades. On the 4 hour time frame, we already have what looks like a potential shift in market structure because this candle has already probably closed below here, and we have this fair value gap here. So price could come back to this fair value gap for more bearish pricing to the downside right here. So we'll be looking at this range for the week. On to our next pair, Euro USD. Euro USD is also in a tough spot because of the fact that it is inside of a bullish fair value gap. So if Euro USD has to buy from this weekly fair value gap, we need to be expecting an engulfment on the daily time frame. And this price needs to engulf a bearish candlestick to create a bullish order block for price to buy. But if price does not create that bullish engulfment, we'll be anticipating more sales to the downside. If we have to have more sales to the downside, I wouldn't want us to say this is draw immediately because this is the forest target that price could get to. It could still just sell lower into this range before any bullish pricings could occur, if bullish pricings have to occur. But for any bullishness on Euro USD, we'll be anticipating a bullish engulfment to occur, then we may have price buying till this. But if not, then we'll be seeing bearish pricing, which is probably the most likely scenario because if the dollar drops, the euro has to drop. Or if the dollar rises, the euro has to drop. And if the dollar drops, the euro has to rise. So we could be experiencing maybe bearish pricing till this low. For now, we'll be looking at that on the daily time frame. And on the 4 hour, we don't have much context yet. We still have price reacting to this long wick that was created on Wednesday after the issue concerning the Fed chairman and Trump with the rumors about the sack. We don't know if it is true yet, but we just know that it had a reaction in the market. So price could be using this as a rejection block for price to create a new shift in market structure, taking out this low and a pullback to sell lower to the downside. On surprise does it on Monday, we don't have any sure guarantee that it wants to use this range to sell more. It could still come back for more involvement to the buy side, creating the bullish order block if it has to buy. So we still are in sort of equilibrium, and I would like to see more context during the week for anything to be said or done on Euro USD. Gold also may encounter more bullish pricing due to a boosted demand in precious metals such as gold and silver. Silver may be rallying to an all-time high of about $38 per ounce, and gold may also be rallying to an all-time high to the level of 3,500 because of the demand of precious metals as the inflation hedge is expressing support for a Fed interest rate cut in the next FOMC meeting. But if we have to look at now the technical analysis, we had go taking out this monthly high here, and just because we have the monthly high taken doesn't mean you'll be going for the monthly low, even though it could go for the monthly low. But I wouldn't want to see price rallying right to the downside if we need to be experiencing bullishness on gold because there's not really much down here for gold to look at. Dropping down to the weekly time frame, we see price had reacted to this bullish order block a long time ago, taken out this monthly high, and rejected back inside of the range. But that does not mean gold wants to sell immediately. We still have different things coming up. If we drop down to the daily time frame, or rather, if we look again on this weekly time frame, here we had price taking out sell side liquidity on this previous weekly low, and we still have our all-time high left clean and as our potential next draw on liquidity, because we have gold inside of this range. I'm using this range because this was where gold tapped into this weekly fair value gap. So this is our long-term low if gold has to continue buying. Continuing down to the daily time frame, we have this that looks like a shift in market structure, which was stated last week. Fair value gap here, which gold has been reacting to. Though it has been rejecting from this high, it does not mean that gold will be selling down to this low. Because we see this last engulfment, it could be looked at as an order block. Gold to continue buying higher and higher. Going down again to the 4 hour time frame, we see here after what looked like this bearish move and could be used for bearishness, price engulfed this bearish fair value gap, creating a bullish balance price range to create a failure swing, and another fair value gap which also has this other fair value gap engulfing it. So we can highlight this range here as our next area that we would like to see gold dropping into. And for reactions on this, we'll be having the expectations to see gold buying to this. If I were a swing trader or a long-term trader who was supposed to take buys, I could be anticipating buys from gold from this range here. My stop loss below here. So the fact that this is a shift in market structure, see all this high here. But now this is going to have a very large stop loss, so we have to look inside of the range. But this is my projection for gold so far. We could have bullishness and gold till this level. Last but not the least, we have GBPJPY. And for those who know, we have been looking at bullishness on GBPJPY for a very, very long time. And so far, I still have anticipations of an increase in the GBPJPY because the potential Democratic Party, the Liberal Democratic Party of Japan, has a promise of lowering taxes and having cash handouts to voters. And with that, there's a potential deterioration in the fiscal value of the Japanese yen, which means there will be a potential drop in yen values. So we can be looking at gold that Japan GBP with the bullish move, because if the Japanese yen has to drop, then pairs where it is a code pair, which is every pair, because there's no pair with the Japanese yen as a base pair, will be encountering potential bullishness, which means GJ, UJ, EJ, that's Euro JPY, may also be encountering bullishness. On this weekly time frame, we see price is reacting to this range here and it closes above here. On the daily time frame, we had this bullish order block which was formed. We had a trade that was missed here. The price took out outside liquidity. And in the next week, we could be having more pricing buying till this next fair value gap right here, which could be our next draw on liquidity. So for GBPJPY, we still have bullishness. When you look down on the 4 hour time frame, there are not a lot of PTRAs that we could see price using. Instead, he has swept this high. So we can't be saying that he will use something on this range yet, unless it creates a new small range, and then we'll be looking for more bullish pricing on GBPJPY. If we don't see anything, then we'll be leaving GBPJPY until the next time that we can see a good area that we can see price bouncing off of and buying more. So we'll be looking at it during the week and we'll have our anticipations during the week. We'll have our explanations on any move if we encountered it. I hope this video serves you well. We'll meet again in the next one. I wish you good luck and good trading. I'm out.